Good morning, class. This is Miss Allen. Today's lesson is going to be lesson 17. This is going to be our introduction. So we will be going through pages 152 through 154 together, and you will do pages 155 through 157 independently. So today's standard is going to be MGSE and F7, which is dividing unit fractions by whole numbers. Okay, our I can statement is I can understand division with unit fractions. So some of the vocabulary we're going to be working with or we're going to be learning today and using is fractions, numerator, denominator, equation, and unit fractions. So let's start off with our first example. How is dividing with fractions related to multiplying with fractions? So you know that multiplication and division are related. Dividing 8 by 4, for example, gives the same results as multiplying 8 by 1/4. So the first example, we have 8 divided by 4 equals 2. So in the same way, 8 times 1/4 also equals 2. Dividing with unit fractions works the same way. You can solve a division problem involving fractions by multiplication. What does dividing a unit fraction by a whole number mean? Okay. Mrs. Cook wants to share 1/4 pound of fish equally among 3 cats. That means she would need to divide 1/4 into 3 equal parts among 3 cats. You can draw an area model to represent the problem. So here is our area model here. We have 3 cats, cat 1, cat 2, and cat 3. So these are our 3. And each part is 1/4. So this is 1/4, this is 1/4, and this is 1/4. For a total of 1/12. So there are 12 squares in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it shows that each cat will receive 1/12 pounds of fish. So cat 1 has 1/12, cat 2 has 2/12, and cat 3 has 2/12. Okay, so now we are on page 153. What does dividing a whole number by a unit fraction mean? Mr. Putnam wants to cut a 3-foot rope into 1/4 foot sections. To figure out how many sections he will get, Mr. Putnam thinks how many fourths are in 3. You can draw a number line to represent the 3 feet of rope. There are 3 1-foot sections. So between 0 and 1, you have 1 foot. Between 1 and 2, you have another 1 foot. And between 2 and 3, you have another 1 foot. You can mark the fourths on the number line to represent 1/4 of a foot. You can see there are 12 1/4 foot sections in 3 feet. 3 divided by 1/4 equals 12. So what we can do is looking at the number line, between 0 and 1, you have 1/4 marks. So between 0 and this 1/4, it's 1/4. Then there's 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4. So there's 1/4 between each section. You can also write a multiplication equation to show how many fourths there are in 3. There are 4 fourths in each whole foot. To find the number of fourths in 3 feet, you can multiply 3 times 4 equals 12. When you divide 3 by 1/4, you are dividing 3 into parts smaller than 1. So there will be more than 3 of those parts. So with our reflection, it says, explain what it means to divide 5 by 1/4. So our answer to that so our answer to that is it means finding out how many fourths there are in 5 wholes. So a way we can do it showing multiplication could be showing 5 times 4 equals 20. All right, so now we're moving on to page 154. It says, explore dividing a whole number by a unit fraction with the problem below. Gemma made 5 cups of pancake batter. She uses a scoop measuring 1/3 cup to pour the batter on into the skillet to make large pancakes. How many pancakes can Gemma make? The 5 rectangles below represents the 5 cups of pancake batter. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total cups of pancake batter. So it says you need to find out how many blank there are in blank. So she's using 1/3 of a cup. So we need to find out how many 1/3 of a cup there are in 5 total cups. Okay, so I'm going to use my tools button here. So for number 2, I'm trying to find out how many 1/3 there are in, so I'm going to put a comma, in 5 total cups. How many 1/3 are there? So what I would do is I would make I would make 5 squares. 3, 4, 5. And then I would break each square into 3 parts. Okay. And so now number 3 says the scoop holds 1/3 cups of batter. How many scoops are in 1 cup? How many scoops are in 1 cup? So we're looking at each square. So this is one cup and it holds 1, 2, 3 scoops. Okay. So your answer for number 3 would be 3. For number 4, it says divide each of the 5 rectangles into sections to show your answer to problem 3. So we've done that here. We divide them all into 3 parts, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and each of them have 3 scoops. And so number 6 says, what is 5 divided by 1/3? So we divided 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by thirds, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, and all we're going to do is count each scoop. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We have 15. So it's the same thing as multiplying 5 times 3. We would get 15. So the answer to 5 divided by 1/3 is also 15. Okay. Number 7 says what multiplication equation will also solve this problem? And that's our multiplication problem that we did right here. 5 times 3 equals 15. So that's number 7. And then number 8 asks us, how is 5 times 3 related to 5 divided by 1/3? And I would say they both describe this the same problem. And it's just the inverse of the same problem. 5 times 3 equals 15, and 5 divided by 1/3 equals 15. And as we know that is 3 over 1, that is the inverse of 1 over 3. So that's how they're related. So 5 times 3 is 5 times 3 over 1. That equals 15. And then 5 times 1/3 is the inverse. 5 divided by 1/3 is the inverse of 3 over 1. And that also equals 15. Okay. So now we're on our last page that we will go over together. This is page 155. Suppose Gemma wanted to divide 1/3 of pancake batter to make 4 mini Pancakes. What fraction of a cup of batter will each pancake get? The rectangle to the right shows 1 cup divided into 3 equal sections. How much does each section represent? So let's see. If we're making, and I'm just going to make it on my own, my little box, and we have 1, 2, 3, and we want we want 4 mini pancakes, excuse me. So what we would do is we would divide that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm sorry that they're not completely even. So what we would do is we would shade in 1/3 of the rectangle to show 1/3 of a cup. So I'm going to shade in 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that's the number 9 is going to be 1/3. The rectangle to the right shows 1 cup into 3 equal sections. How much does each section represent? It represents 1/3 for number 9. For number 10, it says shade in 1/3 of the rectangle to show 1/3 of a cup. Number 11, you need to divide 1/3 cup equally to make 4 pancakes. Divide each third of the rectangle vertically into 4 parts, which is what we did here. Then shade 1/4 of the rectangle to show 1/4 of the pancakes. The overlapping section shows the fraction of a cup of batter that each pancake will get. What is this fraction? So this person, this is person 1, this will be person 2, and this will be person 3. Now there are a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pancakes. And so each person will get 1 out of 12. So this is the part that's shaded in. Person 1 will get 1/12, person 2 will get 1/12, and person 3 will get 1/12. Number 13, it says, what is 1/3 divided by 4? So 1/3 divided by 4, looking at the area model, equals 1/12. And then it says, what multiplication equation, this is number 14, also solves 1/4 of 1/3? And the answer is here. You have 1/3 times 1/4. You would multiply your numerators. 1 times 1 equals 1. And 3 times 4 would equal 12. So your answer, doing it the multiplication way, also is 1/12. All right. Number 15 says, how is 1/3 divided by 1/4 related to 1/3 times 1/4? So how is this problem related to this second problem? And the answer is they both describe the same problem. 1/3 divided by 1/4 is the same thing as saying 1/3 times 1/4. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do is try it another way. So another way to think about dividing unit fractions is to write equivalent fractions with a common denominator. What is 5 divided by 1/2? Number 16 says write 5 as a fraction with the denominator of 2. So 5, that's our whole number. Any whole number is a number over 1. 5 also equals 5 over 1. So we want to create 5 over 1 with a denominator of 2. So we're going to create a new denominator. That's going to be 2. And we have to ask ourselves, 1 times what will give us 2? I know that 1 times 2 is 2. Any number times itself is that number. So 1 times 2 equals 2. Then whatever we do to the denominator, we must do to the numerator. So now we have 5 times 2 equals 10. So our answer for number 16 is 10 over 2. Number 17, it says divide 10 over 2 into equal groups of 1/2, and how many can you make? So 10 over 2